So the best that Twitter probably can do, realistically speaking.
I swear to God, if he fucking says come up with a standard.
By sheer coincidence.
Don't you fucking do it, Ben.
Speaking is promulgate standards that are allowed by various governments in various parts of the West. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be taking your call.
Damn it.
Grilled it up for me. I can tell you it was mouth watering. Good Ranchers.
So. Have you guys heard that Elon Musk owns Twitter? I know. You're saying to yourself, when the fuck did this happen? Well, it happened, maybe like a month and some change ago? And in that month of time, since Elon Musk took control of Twitter, it has been a... Let me think how to choose my words. It has been a fucking disaster. It has not just been a fucking disaster. It has been a dumpster fire. A wholly, uniquely bold fuck up on one individual's part. How Elon Musk has taken the probably number one communicative tool for basically the entire world and turned it into a pretty useless platform now that is constantly changing its policies, whose, like, you know, values, as much of a company can have values, swings like horribly from back and forth. As much as, like, you know, all of this has happened in like such a short amount of time. But what he's endeavored to do is gain the, what's the word? The admiration of the right. Now, has that worked? I think the jury's a bit, it's not looking good for Elon Musk. He's now gone to put up a poll asking if he should step down, which, I'm sorry, that's like the saddest thing I've ever heard. The idea that you spent $44 billion, leveraged some of your previous wealth to buy a company to then democratically, like, pretend to decide to keep owning that company, or at the very least keep running it after you said, you know, you'd be like the best person to run it. Like, this guy has been embarrassed to the point of no return. His KD is super low. Like, the dude's taking L's. And there's one more L. There's one more L he's about to take. Ben Shapiro, notable right-wing figure, doesn't, you know, based on the name of this video is "If You Can't Take the Heat, Get Out of the Kitchen." Now, I historically am not, I don't agree much with Ben Shapiro. Sometimes Ben lands on a good point, but most of the time he's on like a theocratic point that I can't get behind. But let's see, if he's lost Ben Shapiro, Elon's in some trouble. He's in some trouble.
Bought Twitter not all that long ago, and he's been a very hands-on owner. He's been formulating Twitter policy in real time, banning accounts, bringing back accounts, doing everything by Twitter poll. Over the weekend, Elon Musk put out a poll by the results of the poll
and
asking whether people should allow him to remain the CEO of Twitter. And then the poll results came in, and nearly 60% of people on Twitter who were polled said that Musk should not remain the CEO of Twitter.
Now, let's remember, this is not a scientific poll. This is also, like, you know, from a scientific standpoint, and from, you know, as a leftist who likes to have real data and, you know, not, you know, bullshit that's easy to kind of mess with. This is not a scientific poll. This is also not a, you know, I don't think anybody should be taking this poll, especially Elon Musk, seriously in a real thoughtful manner. This is like thrown out there, and anybody can vote. Anybody can just make a new account, vote twice. There's no real way to, catch, to kind of, get a, this isn't scientific. This isn't real. But this is a vibe, and it's not a good vibe. It's not a good vibe when, you do the old, putting your hands up to the wind and you're not getting it the way you want it. So, not scientific, but also not great. Considering how many Musk stands there are, you would think they'd try harder to rig the results.
Now, here's the thing. I think Musk is smart enough to know what the result was going to be ahead of time. I really doubt that he thought that 60% of people are going to say, yeah. So what this really looks more like is a transition plan. He wants to make it look like the people wanted him to step out of the way, and then he'll appoint somebody else to run Twitter. But this does speak to the way that Twitter is currently being run, which is very ad hoc. Again, I don't have a problem with that because I would rather that there be someone at the top of the food chain to blame as opposed to the way Twitter was being run. But
so, let's actually get it. So the Twitter files came out. We all saw them. They're pretty mid. What the Twitter files revealed is that in terms of enforcing their TOS, the way Twitter came to their decisions was multiple boards of people who do research, people who, are paid to understand sociological trends and understand, really the kind of, people who really fit into the parameters of trying to understand nuanced conversation between people and assess how much damage is actually being done and what is and what isn't, hate speech, which is super gray area. Now, conservatives would have had you believe that it was Jack Dorsey, that it was, I don't know, the conservatives have been whining, quite frankly, for years that Twitter was biased against conservatives and that Twitter was making its decisions authoritarian in an authoritarian fashion, top down. When in actuality, the decisions as to how to enforce TOS was done by a board of multiple people making arguments for or against the not just deplatforming, but the suppression of one's reach on Twitter. So we're talking about, quite frankly, enforcing TOS is always going to be incredibly difficult. And honestly, from everything I read, and you can say whatever you want about me, but for everything that I read, honestly, they're enforcing the TOS about as best as you can expect, if I'm being honest. Now, that doesn't take into the account, I'm not counting towards that, the obvious ways that they shirked their TOS, in which case you have pages, the specific one that they used in their examples, so I have no problem saying it, is Chaya Raychik's Libs of TikTok account, which is a hate account that doxes people, that Twitter protected. The higher-ups of Twitter protected her account from bans and from suspensions. So, and from facing and being enforced upon the same way any normal Twitter user would. So when we're talking, when conservatives say that, Twitter had some anti-conservative value, they're just lying. They're I don't know if this is, I don't think this is breaking the mold here, but they were just lying about that. Twitter was protecting conservative accounts. That's what they were doing. They were limiting those accounts' reach to a degree, but they were not treating them equally as they would some other accounts. So keep that in mind. And Ben here, I'm really glad Ben is staying consistent in his authoritarian values, that he would prefer just one overlord, one leader, one person that swings the gavel. You know, he already said that the enforcement and everything else was very ad hoc, which is true. It is, because there is no team left. There is now the people who get banned because Elon says so. That's what their TOS has turned into, which is a fucking joke. Like, we all understand it's a fucking joke, but like that's what it's turned into. Which is the result when you have one person at the top. It's kind of, when you have kings, they just kind of, the laws just kind of exist sometimes and don't other times. You would think Ben would understand this.
This does throw the entire social media system into at least some chaos because nobody actually knows what's coming next. I have no information suggesting that Elon Musk actually knows who would replace him as CEO of Twitter. It's not like he has somebody waiting in the wings, and this is all a setup. This is all seat of the pants kind of stuff, which makes it, on the one hand, fun, and on the other hand, slightly terrifying for
Also, I just want to say, the only actual solution is selling Twitter to its employees, letting them collectively own and run Twitter democratically. That's the actual thing that should be happening. If Elon Musk believes in democracy, believes in all this stuff, he'd hand it over to his workers who actually do the real work. Which is also why Twitter's kind of a dumpster fire right now, because there's no engineers there to fix any of the glaring issues.
For those who actually are trying to figure out what standards Twitter is attempting to apply here. According to the Wall Street Journal,
There aren't.
a majority of Twitter users said Elon Musk should step down as chief of the company in a poll the billionaire pledged to follow, casting new uncertainty on the social media platform after more than 7 weeks of turmoil since he took it over.
Holy shit. Was I right? So, yeah, because what did I say, like a month and some change? That's less than 2 months. That technically counts. Woo! I was right. 7 weeks, guys. 7 weeks. This guy's been in charge. 7 weeks, and he's already asking people, "Hey, should I leave? Maybe I'm not so good at this. Maybe somebody else should be better. I just, if everyone thinks I should leave, maybe I should leave."
More than 17 million users had voted by the time the poll on the platform closed after 6 a.m. Eastern Time, with 57.5% saying he should leave as the head of the company he bought in October for $44 billion.
Jesus.
Musk had said when he launched the Twitter poll
Also
on Sunday,
overpaid.
he would abide by the results. It's not clear who would be taking over Twitter Inc. if Musk steps aside or what his role would remain, given that he still owns the company. Most of the company's prior leadership was either fired or left after he took over. And by the way, it's not going to be a great job. For all those people who are clamoring and saying out there, I could do it. Well, Musk is just going to fire you after 2 weeks because all that will mean is that he stands sort of behind whoever the Twitter CEO is. Musk tweeted, quote, "No one wants the job who can actually keep Twitter alive. There is no successor." Now, one of the reasons why Musk is doing this is because his other companies like SpaceX and Tesla have been suffering on the stock market. Shares in Tesla have fallen more than 57% this year, frustrating some retail investors who partly blame Musk's focus on Twitter for the decline. And this is not unusual. Anytime the market perceives Musk as a volatile figure, his stock drops. And then it always comes back. This happened with Tesla when Musk went on Joe Rogan's show and he smoked pot. And for a moment there, it looked like the Tesla stock was going to be in rough shape. And then, of course, Tesla pulled out of the tailspin, and soon it was doing fine.
Mainly because smoking weed isn't, like, detrimental to the economy also. Understand, the stock market is all just public gambling. Understand that. It's just public gambling.
Tesla shares were jumping pre-market Monday amid the suggestion that Musk would stop running Twitter and return his attention back to the engineering company that he founded. There have been questions since Musk first showed interest in buying Twitter, how he would jump.
Did he found? He did not found. Elon Musk did not start Tesla. Elon Musk bought into Tesla. Those are not the same thing, Ben. Those are not the same thing. Me buying in after I've seen everything and after there's been some breakthrough, or, when there's a bidding war from other investors, that's not founding. That's just buying into the company after it's been proven. Founding would be like the original engineers, the original programmers.
Juggle running that company while also pursuing all of his other endeavors. Bill Nelson, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's administrator this month said he had asked SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell if Twitter would divert from the rocket company's mission. She assured me it would not be a distraction. Musk said last month that he had too much work on his plate. Now, again, it's been a pretty chaotic couple of months under Musk. Much of what he has done has been excellent. So, for example, the breaking of new Twitter files, demonstrating what exactly.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna lie about the Twitter files. Lovely. I kind of had a feeling he'd end up doing this. So you remember what I said about the Twitter files? Let's hear the made up version of it. Let's hear like the fictional. Like let's hear the X Files version.
Twitter was doing to shut down free speech before Musk took over. Musk had said that he was essentially a free speech libertarian when he took over. And then he's sort of activated, as I say, an ad hoc policy where he bans people and then he brings them back based on Twitter polls where the standards are not entirely clear. And what's funny to me about that...
Right, but the standards are clear. We kind of... Part of the Twitter files was that the standards were clear. That doesn't mean the standards are like rock solid or unmalleable. There was an entire debate internally in Twitter whether to ban Donald Trump. Like this wasn't a decision made by Dorsey or by I already forget homeboy's name, but this was a like constant back and forth with their enforcement team, like trying to figure out what the balance was. Like you can't whatever.
That is that the entire media are caterwauling about this. They're screaming to the heavens, screaming to God about why exactly the standards are so opaque and changeable. It's like, welcome to the party, pal. It's been like this for the last 10 years. The only difference is this time you guys are sometimes getting clocked.
Whoa. A board of people coming to a decision through debate and through understanding an argument around the TOS. There was an entire team. That was their job, was to talk about these things and come up with a consistent reading of them. Like they had a structure, and like what's funny is Ben is trying very poorly to make a team of people whose job it is to discern and to deliberate about TOS and the enforcement of that TOS is the same. He is trying to equalize that as the same as simply being up to whoever the fuck just bought the company 7 weeks ago. Which, you know, maybe I'm crazy, but I would rather have like 12. I would rather have 3 people who mildly disagree go into a room and like argue about why this or that account should be suspended or banned, then just have it be one guy. They always want to pretend like it's always been one guy. It's never been one guy, and the gavel's never swung this absurdly and this meaninglessly till Musk took over. Like, what is this?
But the real thing that Musk has done here is, of course, revealed what was going on at Twitter during the Trump era. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First, a hard year on the...
Excuse you. Wait.
The economy means that essential practical gifts will be in high demand this year. Also, delicious gifts for the whole family.
What is...
When you give a box of Good Ranchers...
No. Why does everyone here... Okay, so this guy definitely, like, works... This guy's like the demonstrator. He like rolled over with his fucking grill to fucking Gumby looking ass over here and was like, yes, you see, there is this cooking equipment. It is called a grill. And he was like, yes, a grill. You see, you put meats on it and it smokes them or you know, you get seared edges due to the grill lines. Fucking then, okay, I'll admit the dude in the middle looks like he looks like he's seen a grill before. Ben looks like he just saw a magic trick that he kind of understands, but at the same time isn't 100% sure. He wants to believe that he doesn't have the answer, but he thinks he has the answer. What is this?
You're giving them a true steakhouse experience with 100% American USDA prime and upper choice cuts of beef, chicken, and seafood. Other meat delivery companies, even your local grocery stores, import lower quality meat from overseas. Don't give your friends and family less than American. Delicious. They got it for me. They grilled it up, got me a kosher steak, and it is absolutely
Wait. No way. No, stop it. No, you're not eating that directly out of the fucking packaging, are you? Stop. Wait. Okay, wait a minute. No fucking chance. 0.75.
They actually got me a kosher steak, and it is...
Dude, that... Okay. Ben Shapiro, in an effort to prove to us his manhood, his big, strong meat manhood, is eating his fucking steak out of the goddamn deli tray that you buy it from. Oh my god, that's disgusting. There's like what? Ben,
absolutely delicious.
Ben,
They got it for me. They grilled it up for me. I can tell you, it was mouth watering. Good Ranchers.
Okay, we're done. Okay. We're gonna have to on this anymore. Okay, we're moving on. Okay. No more talk about mouth watering.
And so over the weekend also, Matt Taibbi was a guest on this program last week.
Matt Taibbi,
former Rolling Stone journalist. He revealed how much contact was had between the higher-ups at Twitter and the FBI. And this should scare everybody. When the FBI is contacting social media companies and telling them what to put up and what to take down and all the rest of it, predicated not on...
we already saw in the files they had meetings. They didn't tell them. They just... They were informing them of the breakage of their TOS and seeking the enforcement of their own terms of service. The FBI was not coming in with a warrant signed by a fucking judge and saying you need to ban like libtard 01 and cuckservative 889 or whatever. That's not what was happening. They had meetings with the FBI because the FBI was at the time investigating the conspiracy rhetoric being talked about openly on Twitter, along with just the sussy nature of people on Twitter. If the FBI came to Twitter to be like, hey, you've got CP on there, that would also be Twitter working with the FBI. Like, okay.
And typical sort of law enforcement procedures, not based on warrants, not based on investigations, but based on simply the FBI's sense that they don't want something up. That's pretty scary stuff. Taibbi posted
not really.
Late on Friday afternoon. The Twitter files are revealed.
Like, private citizens, you're allowed. Like, understand, if you're a normal person, you can lobby Twitter, Facebook, any of these social networks to have content pertaining to you personally taken down. Managers do this all the time. Like anybody with any... Ben Shapiro probably does this. The Daily Wire most likely does this on behalf of Ben Shapiro. They email Twitter and go, hey, can you take down this person who posted like Holocaust shit but with Ben in it or something. Like this isn't abnormal at all. This is perfectly normal stuff. Is not weird.
Feeling more every day about how the government collects, analyzes, and flags your social media content. Twitter's content with the FBI, contact with the FBI was constant and pervasive,
as if
it were a subsidiary. Between January 2020 and November 2022, there were over 150 emails between the FBI and former Twitter Trust and Safety Chief Yoel Roth. Some are mundane, like San Francisco agent Elvis Chen wishing Roth a Happy New Year, along with a reminder to attend our quarterly call next week. Others are requests for information into Twitter users.
Jeez, imagine thinking please remember to attend our quarterly call. Like, imagine thinking that's the big conspiracy. This is the dangerous environment to which Twitter is being infringed upon.
Related to active investigations. But a surprisingly high number are requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. The FBI's social media-focused task force, known as FTIF, created in the wake of the 2016 election, swelled to 80 agents and corresponded with Twitter to identify alleged foreign influence and election tampering of all kinds. Federal intelligence and law enforcement reach into Twitter included the Department of Homeland Security, which partnered with security contractors and think tanks to pressure Twitter to moderate content. Matt Taibbi.
So besides kind of just pretending like any of that's controversial, like understand what they're talking about is simply the FBI, because again, it's a public platform, keeping an eye on Twitter users that they've flagged for sussy behavior and reporting that sussy behavior to Twitter, because the FBI can't yeet them off Twitter's platform. Only Twitter can do that. I don't get what the conspiracy is here. This is rather mundane. You would kind of expect this sort of thing, right? Like, this is rather normal, yeah? Like, there's nothing controversial
He
here.
reports it's no secret the government analyzes bulk data for all sorts of purposes. But the Twitter files show something new. Agencies like the FBI and DHS regularly sending social media content to Twitter through multiple entry points pre-flagged for moderation. What stands out is the sheer quantity of reports from the government. Some are aggregated from public hotlines. There's an unanswered question. Do agencies like the FBI and DHS do in-house flagging work themselves, or are they farming it out? One former intelligence officer said, "You have to prove to me that inside the effing government you can do any kind of massive data or AI search." Taibbi said,
Is that inconceivable? Is it inconceivable that the federal government, the FBI, doesn't have the ability to quickly thumb through a lot of data? Is that shocking? I feel like that's I'd be kind of disappointed if our government did not already like have the ability to do that. Like, what? Sorry, I'm just reading something. Huh. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Anyway.
says there was a master canine quality to the FBI's relationship to Twitter. There's a November 2022 email, for example, in which the FBI San Francisco notified Twitter it wanted action on 4 specific accounts.
Wanted.
Twitter personnel in that case.
Understand, none of this is enforced by law. Let's be really clear. Not once in the Twitter files was there any what's the word? Threat of legal or regulatory action. This was all just them bringing cases of breakage of TOS to Twitter's attention. Because again, even Twitter can't police everything on Twitter. Like, that's not a thing you can do. You have to have algorithms. You have to have programs to look and flag certain things.
Look for reasons to suspend all 4 accounts. Just to show that the FBI can be hyper-intrusive in both directions, they also asked Twitter to review a blue-leaning account for a different joke, except here it was more obvious that the person who kids a lot was actually kidding. Pretty much all of the right-wing accounts ended up being suspended by Twitter
being weird. Sorry.
at the behest of the FBI. Now, this, of course, is pretty scary stuff.
Is
you
it, Ben?
don't really want the FBI coordinating with the social media companies to determine what should be taken down, what should be left up.
Really? You don't think there's some value to the FBI and other investigatory apparatuses to, I didn't even say pre, to investigate people on public platforms and then bring their findings to the platform holder? That's weird. How is that weird? Okay.
Many of the accounts that the FBI was targeting were satirical in nature. Many of them were relatively low engagement, and some were suspended, most with a generic thanks Twitter letter. When told of the FBI flagging, one of the people suspended said, my thoughts initially were, seems like prima facie a First Amendment violation. Holy cow. Me, an account with the reach of an Amoeba 3, what else are they looking at?
It's not.
I can't believe the FBI is policing jokes on Twitter. That's crazy, said one of the users.
Whoa.
But that's exactly what was happening.
Yeah, if you're like spreading misinformation through also understand that everyone does the like it was just a joke bro meme whenever they do anything sussy. That is the like lowest common denominator like dumbass internet like troll response when they get caught and clapped up doing anything or being sussy or anything else. They just do like the, oh well, it was all just a meme, I was just joking, that's all. Sheesh, do I take it so seriously? It's like, well, like you can say you're joking. They'll do like obviously the election was stolen, and then they'll be like, oh, it's just a joke, bro. And it's like, well, you've said it in every tweet for the last 6 months, so I'm not 100% sure you're really joking there. I think you're just stating that as like a fact.
And this is one of the reasons why it was important.
Also, guess what? It's not an infringement on your freedom of speech because Twitter's a private platform. Twitter can simply say no to the FBI. I know. It seems crazy. They could there most likely were cases where they went, this doesn't really align with our TOS. Banning them or suspending them wouldn't really align well. No, we're not going to spin that account. But there are others that if you're posting CP, if you're doxing people, then FBI would be accurate in suggesting, hey, you should maybe enforce your TOS, just kind of an idea. Like, it's not, this isn't controversial, Ben. I don't like
important.
It's like Ben's never heard of like enforcement of almost anything. Like, yeah, this is like the police will do this in certain instances.
For Musk to take over because Musk is revealing all of the bad activity of the government.
I shouldn't say the police, but
with Twitter,
it's just not controversial. It's
now,
just not
at the
controversial.
same time, as I say, Musk's running of Twitter has been extraordinarily ad hoc. I've used that phrase a bunch of times. He's just doing it sort of seat of the pants. So, for example, he suspended.
What? Oh man, Ben hitting it out the park. Everything by the seat of the pants.
Taylor Lorenz.
Has Ben ever like interacted with like a normal person? Who the fuck says? Okay, we're moving on.
Taylor Lorenz is just a garbage pseudo reporter over at the Washington Post. She spends all day just irritating people on social media and then tracking down her enemies on social media. And in the case of libs of TikTok, actually doxing people on social media. Well, she was actually briefly suspended from Twitter over the weekend. She acted as though she had been shipped to the gulags under Stalin or something.
Wait, what? Wait a second. Ben. You can't in one video, you cannot make the argument that you getting yeeted off of Twitter or suspended from Twitter because you were posting some sussy anti-election, anti-democratic bullshit. You cannot say that that is a possible infringement on your free speech and then turn around and when a journalist is suspended or banned or whatever the fuck she was for a amount of time and they had a problem with it, turn around and say, oh, are you crying? Oh, did you go to a Russian? Did you get killed and go to the gulag where you had to team up with another random player and have to defend both you and that other player because they're not very good at defending themselves? And now that they went down, now you have to fight 2v1. And if you can get out, then maybe you can get out of the gulag and maybe make it to the circle before the next round. I don't know. Maybe you're just whining. Like, you can't do that, dude. No. Stop it, Ben. You're being inconsistent. Ben. I don't like it. I don't appreciate that coming from family, all right? I don't appreciate it. Get it together, Ben. If it was an infringement on one's rights, it was an infringement on the other, or it's neither, which it is neither. Taylor Lorenz can go cry in a corner, because guess what? It's a private platform. I don't agree with the decision. Like, banning journalists is not, is not in line with the values of freedom of speech, especially the way it's written in the United States Constitution. But it's a private platform. It's Elon Musk's private platform. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with it. But don't sit here and pretend that before Elon took it over and someone got banned, it was an infringement on speech. But after he took it over, it's not an infringement of speech. Please, fucking spare me.
Social media talking about her tremendously difficult period of Twitter expulsion.
Was it really? What
in pretty short order.
Can I see the tweets?
But
I would love to see her. Can I see the anything?
Yeah, she came back online, by the way, and then she was sharing memes and all this, but she was suspended because of doxing of libs of TikTok. Now, that's not a good standard. I think Taylor Lorenz is garbage, and I think there are many times where she does things that ought to get her suspended or expelled from Twitter, including doxing people like libs of TikTok. However...
Wait, doxing, you mean Chaya Raichik? Am I going to get doxed for... Am I doxing Chaya Raichik for saying her name? That's okay. You can ban me off Twitter. I don't use Twitter enough to matter.
Taylor Lorenz, you can't retroactively decide to suspend people. You can't decide 2 years later because Taylor Lorenz did something to libs of TikTok that now she ought to be suspended. because otherwise there's no standard at all. I will say it was pretty funny. Taylor Lorenz found out she'd been suspended. She obviously was pretty happy about it. And then she ended up dropping off of her own Instagram feed. She had an Instagram feed in which she was announcing, or her TikTok feed in which she was announcing this. And all of the comments on the TikTok feed were about how much people hated Taylor Lorenz. She ended up running away. Here's what it sounded like.
Geez, some people sent her hate messages, so she was like, I guess I just won't bother with this because getting hate messages for an entire day is just not really mentally healthy. Jeez, what a snowflake. Ask Ben about the Holocaust and see how quickly he shrivels. Like, yeah, it's okay.
Oh my God, this is just a bunch of Elon fans.
It is. Is this Taylor Lorenz? I have no idea what she looked like.
Oh, Air and Space Museum. Hi. Guys, I did have only 3 tweets because my tweets auto delete, and they have since 2014. Anyway, I do have to go.
I love how someone's
but I love you
cry
guys,
more
and
while
it was so fun to get to chat with you.
Crying.
So,
wow, that person seemed really deeply affected by their Twitter ban. Man, Ben, you really got him there.
See you later, Taylor. We'll catch you later. But okay, Taylor Lorenz ended up being reinstated. Here's the bottom line. Bottom line is this. Whoever is going to come in for Musk, because now he's pledged that he's going to step aside and he's going to put in some sort of new CEO. Here is the standard that ought to be applied. The standard that ought to be applied is a pure First Amendment free speech standard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what ought to happen. And then all other standards ought to be made transparent. If you're going to downgrade tweets that are First Amendment protected, but you don't want getting wide dissemination, you should have a transparent process whereby people can quickly see why the thing is being downgraded. I will say that Musk has been radically transparent. Even though he is doing things, seat of the pants, he's being very transparent about why he is doing things and how he is doing things. And the answer is he's doing because he feels like it. Whoever comes in next should.
Wait, that's not transparency, Ben. That's not transparency, Benjamin. Because I feel like it is not transparency. When somebody says, I did a thing because I felt like it, that's usually an indication that they don't actually want you to explain why they did something. Like, we all understand that, right? Like that's all that is you just being like, oh, I really don't feel like explaining this one, so I'll just chalk it up to I felt like a deal with it, nerd. Like that's not transparency at all. At all. Like, actually, I want to hear these again because I admittedly my brain was kind of not paying attention. What
that ought to be applied.
Okay,
the standard that ought to be applied is a pure First Amendment free speech standard.
Okay, cool. Which does not apply to private institutions or private platforms, but okay. Let's take the private part out of it. Okay.
That's what ought to happen. And then all other standards ought to be made transparent. If you're going to downgrade tweets that are First Amendment protected, but you don't want getting wide dissemination,
sure,
you should have a transparent process whereby people can quickly see why the thing is being downgraded. I will.
Okay. And then what? Then you have to have a debate as to why certain things, like, understand. Let's be really clear here. What Ben wants at the end of the day is non-enforcement or a non-existent terms of service. That's what Ben at the end of the day wants. But let's take him at face value and let's go with, so Ben wants a open explanation. Probably this would be somehow in the form of like a tag. Maybe, I don't know if this is possible, but maybe, if you're spreading election fraud conspiracies, maybe there's like a little tag that goes like under your tweet or maybe over your tweet, or maybe there's like a little badge that you get, a little dunce cap or something that like tells you, hey, this person is kind of known for lying, and this specific tweet is missing a lot of context and a lot of facts. It's not. You should probably look into this a little bit more before you buy into this tweet. There's just a little bit of information that you're missing here on this one, and this person might not know that, but it's just the viewer beware. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a technology that Twitter can innovate. Maybe I've never seen it before. I've never seen something like this before. So maybe I just thought of it. Elon, you owe me like, I'll make it easy on you. You owe me like $20 million. You know, that's all I'll take for coming up with this groundbreaking idea here. So, you know, that's all. Yeah, 20 mil. I'll settle for 20 mil.
I will say that Musk has been radically transparent, even though he is doing things seat of the pants. He's being very transparent about why he is doing things and how he is doing things. And the answer is he's doing because he feels like it.
It's by the seat of his pants. Ben, have you never heard this phrase before? Why do you keep saying by the seat of the pants? The seat doesn't have pants. Okay.
Whoever comes in next should continue that policy of radical transparency, but should take a very strict First Amendment standard with regard to Twitter in the United States.
Wait. First of all, Twitter files, not transparent. They're curated files. You know, none of the journalists were given free range over all of the files of Twitter or any of this stuff. They were curated by Musk and his team. Make that clear.
Problems for international companies like Twitter is that the free speech standards in the United States are not the free speech standards that apply in, say, France or Britain, where actual quote-unquote hate speech can be prosecuted. They don't have the same First Amendment standards over in Europe. So the best that Twitter probably can do, realistically speaking,
I swear to God, if he fucking says come up with a standard, if he better not fucking say come up with a universal standard that's applicable to all laws around, to the most amount of laws around the world to fit most circumstances. Because God damn it, if he says TOS in that long form, I'm going to fucking throw something. Don't you fucking do it, Ben.
Is promulgate standards that are allowed by various governments in various parts of the West. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be taking your call.
Damn it. We already had a solution. It was called terms of service. There was a whole team called enforcement or whatever, or harassment maybe. I don't remember what the team is called, but there was like a team of people whose job it was to assess this shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus wept. I can't believe it. Dude. This is Ben, cousin. Come on. We got to do better than this. Oh, God. I can't believe it. My enormous fucking brain inside of the Santa Claus hat. I can't believe it. Still can't. I did not pre-watch. Fucking A. Of course he said have a TOS and enforce it. Of course he did. Because these idiots have like no idea that the solutions to the problems, we've already found them. You all just don't like them because you all always break them. That's the only reason. Jesus. Okay. You know the thing? The thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to